Introduced in 1968, the W115 was the 5-passenger sedan that Mercedes offered at the time. The W114 and the W115, both designed by Paul Brock and were manufactured until 1976. Now, two versions were created, the coupe version and the sedan version. But a version that was never created was a convertible version of the W115, and that's what we have right here. And that's why coach builders were so important in the 1970s and the 1980s, because they offered options that the manufacturers themselves did not offer to their high-end clients. All their VIPs that wanted something beyond just a custom interior or a body kit. You know, you wanted something more extreme done to your car, and in this case, they cut the whole roof off. Now, one of the companies that was doing a lot of conversions on the west coast of America, like removing tops off sedans, which was done on this car, was a company called Newport Specialty Cars. They did a lot of top quality conversions, just like this one right here, which would take a sedan or a coupe and essentially cut the roof off and extremely change the look and the feel of the car. Now in this case, this conversion was done in 2015. So this was brought to Newport Specialty Cars in 2015. They demanded that the roof be cut off of this 4-door sedan. Now this one right here is a 1975 240D. It's a diesel. They cut off the roof and they did a full bespoke custom interior. We have this red and black beautiful interior. They had these pieces left of the doors right here, so they had to do something with them. So they made this roll bar right here that goes right over me, and that actually helps blend all of the bodywork together with the remaining pieces in the doors. And of course, it's for your safety. God forbid, if you roll over in this car, you have this roll bar to make sure that you're good. It reminds me a lot of the Lawn Delay, even the old school Lawn Delays made out of the 600 Pullmans, where the back of the sedan was cut off and exposed, but you still had the hardtop in the front. But yeah, man, it's a striking look whenever you pull up somewhere. It's not a powerful car, not that much power behind the wheel, but it's a cruiser. So whenever you're in this car, you just want to cruise around, you just want to enjoy yourself, and that's what it's all about, man. Just cruising to the beach, going somewhere nice in your convertible 4-door sedan. Another great piece of coach building work that Newport Specialty Cars did was they added this beautiful leather cover over the soft top. So once you retract the soft top and it's back there, it's not just flapping around or not just exposed to the elements or exposed to the world. They wrapped it up really nicely by covering it up with this beautiful burgundy leather. And the soft top itself is actually burgundy. Here's a video of it right here arriving to the Patina Collective. You can see the soft top was still on it. So we're gonna take it right now out in the kingdom to see how it looks like riding around the kingdom of Boca Raton. With the Patina Collective, we're all about these custom tuner Benzes, aftermarket cars that were taken by tuners and transformed into a whole different machine with different body kits, different interiors, souped up motors, different mufflers and different exhausts. Anything you could do to make this car feel like a VIP, one-off, one-of-a-kind vehicle for the customers. But then there's other companies called coach builders that took it to the next level, and that's what we have right here. This W115 was actually coach built by Newport Specialty Cars in California, and they took this car to the next level when they chopped the roof off a 4-door sedan from 1975. This 240D right here, finished off in this beautiful silver with this gorgeous custom interior. But right now we're gonna start at the front like we always do with this front bumper. And of course we encountered this massive US spec front bumper for the W115. This thing is protruding way out of the body line proportions, and it does not look correct to the car. That's because this car was never designed to have this massive US spec bumper protruding outwards like this with these massive rubber pieces right here. But hey, it was the 70s and it was safety regulations. Now, front bumpers like this and headlights and other US spec regulations that you would have to do to these cars is what drove the gray market in the 1970s and 1980s, prompting Mercedes to implement the 25-year law, which they invented to all cars that are being imported into America to be at least 25 years old. That's why these days it's much harder to import a car. But back in the day, people had the option to import gray market cars that had just came out in Europe, which were cheaper and better looking, better designed, and were actually faster on the road and had less emissions on the engines. So that's what drove the gray market in the 1970s and 1980s, were these modifications that the US regulations imposed on to the US spec cars. But nevertheless, here we have the US spec bumper for the W115, which still looks cool now that it's vintage, and years later, it makes the car that much more longer and that much more extreme of a build. We have these beautiful stacked headlights. Stacked headlights was something Mercedes was experimenting with in the 1970s. Of course, we have the signature Mercedes grille with the iconic Mercedes emblem sticking out. So beautiful silver paintwork right here. We have the stock hubcaps. They would always color match these hubcaps to the paint back in the 60s and 70s. A lot of our Fintails have it, and a lot of cars from the 1970s have it. Very tasteful for Mercedes to do it. Even the 50s and 60s cars were doing this. So this is something they were doing very early on, and it stayed with the cars all the way to the AMGs when they started color matching to the rims. But yeah, chrome mirrors. We only have one mirror on the left side. Now, something that's very interesting about these older cars, a lot of the 60s cars and 70s cars only have one mirror, and that's on the left side, on the driver's side. In this case, sometimes if you're a right-hand drive car, you would have one mirror on the right side. In this case, we have one mirror on the driver's side, which is very interesting. A weird little thing you really don't notice unless you pay attention to it. Right now, as we open the door right here, we encounter this little plate that has information on it. And what it says right here, it says, "This vehicle was altered by Newport Specialty Cars, Inc. in June of 2015, in which alterations were completed, and as altered, it conforms to all applicable federal motor vehicle safety standards." So this car right here is actually certified by Newport Specialty Cars, and they did all the road legal tests to make sure that this thing conforms to all the laws in the US to make sure this car is good for the road. So as we come to the top right here, we notice the piece is cut. So they cut the roof line just like you would see on any other car. They just literally cut the roof line off everything. So you have all these pieces just sticking out. So what they did was they added this beautiful top roll bar right here. Now this may double as a roll bar or to keep it aesthetically pleasing, but the true function was to keep the structural integrity of the vehicle after they removed the top. And of course, it's wrapped in this gorgeous burgundy leather, which they did the whole interior in this beautiful two-tone burgundy and black leather with these gorgeous stitched patterns in here that remind us of a Bentley interior, or rather a Brabus custom interior. So this is very nice leather work. It's actually done in 2015 and still looks immaculate to this day, guys. Like, there's no fading, no cracking, nothing, as you'd expect by a great company. Another piece of nice coach work they did was they made this beautiful cover right here, this leather burgundy cover to cover the soft top. Now the soft top on this car is actually burgundy as well, and when you retract the top and you have it back here, you can have it covered with this beautiful leather cover, and they did great work. We see a lot of this work done on even the 126s from back in the day that were altered, like our Sun King and all of our coach built convertibles. They usually had a cover built like this by the manufacturers, by the coach builders, and they did a great job with this one. It keeps it nice and snug. It doesn't move. It's very sturdy, and it's very well built, very well made. So like I said earlier, this is a 240D. So this is a diesel car. So an interesting fact we're going to show you right now is how you start this car. Now, to start a diesel like this one, which is something I never knew before, take your key, start it to the first position. And what you're gonna do next is you're gonna pull this, you're gonna pull it out, leave it right there. And you're gonna wait about 30 seconds to let the glow plugs get warmed up. Once the glow plugs are warmed up, all you have to do is pull on this and you start the car, no problem. Once you start your car, you have your idle control right here, your choke. So you're able to turn it up or turn it lower. And this actually helps you warm up your diesel engine before you take off, so you don't have to wait as long, and you have a smoother idle once you take off. So that's the idle control right there for the choke. Another very nice touch was they added this retro sound Bluetooth period correct looking radio right here. So this radio is made by Retro Sound, and it's a Bluetooth radio that has Bluetooth capabilities but looks period correct. It blends in perfectly with the interior. It doesn't take anything away from it. There's nothing worse than having an old vintage car with a new looking radio in there. It really takes away from the originality of the car and the nostalgia that the interior should have. And it looks like something that definitely would have came out of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So definitely pick a Retro Sound Bluetooth radio up for your vintage Mercedes if you're planning on having a project car, or if you already have one, throw one in there and it'll look much better than what you got right now. Now another upgrade was the two dash speakers right here. We have two pretty loud speakers right in the center of the dash. The Fintails also have a placement for the speakers right here in the middle. That's how they did it in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's how they did it in the 1975 in the W115. And We have these 2 loudspeakers that go with the retro sound deck. It sounds really nice and clear. Really don't need much more in this car, especially with the top down. It sounds great when you're cruising down to the beach. Can't complain. So, very interesting fact. I never knew that before they had a push to start, they had a pull to start. And this was the original one from the 1970s. You learn something new every day, guys. All our W115 owners out there, all the diesel owners out there, definitely know about this fun fact right here. As we get to the back of the car, once again, we encounter this massive rear bumper, of course, US spec bumper once again. Diesel badging on the back to let the people know this is a diesel. And this car looks immaculate with the roof cut off, with this gorgeous trunk and the whole shape of the car just sitting this way. It just looks so great. It really changes the whole profile of the back of this car when you take off the whole roof and just leave it bare like this. It just sticks out beautifully in a gorgeous way, and something you've never seen before because they've never produced this chassis in a convertible. All right, let's pop the hood and see what's going on under this hood right here. And we got this beautiful OM616 2.4 liter diesel engine by Mercedes. Now this one is an indestructible engine. You cannot break this engine. It will not break. It will last forever as long as you treat it right and keep the right fluids in it. It's a smooth engine. It's not that powerful. Unfortunately, this car, you put your foot all the way down, it doesn't really go fast, but hey, it's a diesel engine and it'll last forever. So this thing will have 1,000,000 miles on it and it'll still be going. So definitely love this engine right here. It's in a few cars that we have. Definitely, this is the most important application right now in this W115 convertible. Now, imagine on a nice sunny day going to the beach in Florida, you get in the back seat of this W115, take out the armrest, you got your little ashtray right here, get your little cigar out, and you're just cruising, enjoying your day. Feel like a real president back here, especially with this nice roll bar right here. You feel like you're in a lawn delay, a very presidential vibe, especially in the back seat of this long 240. Of course, it's not as long as the cars from the 80s and 90s, but hey, it was 1975 and this was more than enough. But yeah, guys, this is the W115 convertible. We're gonna take it right now back out on the Kingdom, guys, and make you guys see what it looks like to ride around in a gorgeous 4-door convertible. And of course, this is something we don't see every day, guys, a 4-door convertible. We only see 2-door convertibles. So you know, when we're pulling up next to people, they're very confused, very shocked. They're all staring and taking pictures because they've never seen it before. So let's take it out again in the Kingdom, guys, and shock more people. Let's do it.